Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Of course, my name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first Batman Free Roam gameplay showcase. And today we're going to be taking a look at the one and only, the Caped Crusader himself, the man whose name is in the game, and that is, of course, Batman. I'm Batman. And with that being said, of course, as you can see, his default suit is very, very cool. It's kind of like a crossover, to me at least, in my mind, between like the New 52 Batman that we see in the comics, and then also to a certain extent, kind of the Dark Knight inspired suit, just a little bit. I don't know what it is, but that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this outfit. As you can see, he's got the shorter kind of ears going on, which I actually really, really like, so I'm A-okay with that. And I guess that would work really well with the next Batman versus Superman film, so because he does also have the shorter ears, which is pretty cool. And Batman, of course, in this game, oddly enough, I find it interesting, but Batman is like the least focused character that he is in the other games. Does that make any sense? I hope that that made sense. So let me try to basically explain that. So in this game, I feel like he is... like in LEGO Batman 1 and 2, he was pretty prominently featured. This is the one game that you could argue that he's a supporting character. Like, yes, is he one of the main characters? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. But he's also, to a very big extent, at least in terms of the characters that you use. Not the characters that you see in... like little cutscenes and stuff, but the characters that you play in the game, he's definitely one of the support cast, so to speak. That being said, he is super duper diverse. So this is the brand new weapon wheel, or sorry, costume wheel that is going on for the game, which is super duper sweet. And you can see Batman going like, I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth. And right up here, you've got the character selection. So if you press that, you'll bring up your character selection screen. As you can see, I'm doing decently right now in terms of collecting characters. Let's buy one right here. Boom, Kid Flash. Boom, The Question. Boom, Tim Drake. That's what I'm talking about. That was kind of fun to do. But nonetheless, of course, I'll get to showcasing all of these characters, so stay tuned for that. You can start voting on which characters you'd like to see next. I most likely will be doing Robin next, though, so those are probably the first two. But then from this point on, you guys will probably be voting, and I'll follow what you guys want to see. So, with that in mind, let's bring up the weapon wheel again, because, I mean, yes, in this outfit, yes, he does have, obviously, the Batarang, which is pretty cool, and it's just kind of simple, obviously. He can fight, which is pretty neat. There you go. So you can obviously drop some combos and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. But where he gets really awesome is in the suit selection, because he's got lots and lots of variety. In fact, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got the sensor suit, the power suit, the sonar suit, the space suit, the Arctic suit, the electricity suit, and finally, to round out the list, the scuba suit. So let's begin one by one. Sensor suit is something that we saw in LEGO Batman 2 for sure. I don't remember if it was in LEGO Batman 1 now. But of course, this is the suit that he uses for, whenever there's something like where he needs to sense, which I know sounds kind of redundant. It's like, yeah, that's what a sensor suit would do. It's to sense stuff. That's pretty self-explanatory. Of course, Conan O'Brien is going to keep giving us some commentary. That's something that you guys will notice. He constantly has to... say the same thing, and that's the problem. It's like if he said original things every time, that would have been awesome, but sometimes it just like he says the same thing over and over again, which gets a little frustrating. But nonetheless, this is a perfect example of the sensor suit in action. So he activates a sensor, everything turns kind of comic booky, which is awesome, and then you've got this extra little area to discover. So that's kind of cool. I really like that. It's very, very useful. You use it quite often in the game. But additionally to that, he can also avoid being seen by holding the circle button, at least on the PlayStation, and then he becomes invisible. So you can get past security defenses and things like that, which is super duper handy and awesome. Then, additionally to that, he's got the power suit, which is definitely cool. It's back. We've seen it before, but it is awesome. Of course, it is used to destroy silver bits. It's also a very, very powerful suit in terms of just making Batman look very kind of Hulk-esque. And you could totally see Batman using a suit like this to, let's say, verse against Superman or something like that. So, very, very cool looking. I really like the design of this one. I think it's been redesigned lovely. I love the visor. Like, you see that little visor right there with the orange coming through? It looks super duper sweet in my opinion, and I really, really, really love the way that that has turned out. So, these are suits that we've seen before, so that's why I'm kind of blasting through them a little bit quicker than usual. Then we have the Sonar suit, which is super duper sweet. You can destroy glass pieces with it. I mean, obviously, you could destroy other things with it as well. You've got a Sonar blaster, which you can fire like this, punch with it, kick with it. I mean, not kick with it, hit with it. That's what I meant to say. And then, of course, you could also use the little arcing mechanism, which I love because it allows you to clear away a lot of stuff, a lot of debris really, really quickly. So it's very handy for that. I think it's also really well redesigned. It kind of reminds me of the Batman Squire and the Knight, I think it was called, storyline when Batman Incorporated was happening, and there was an English Batman, a British Batman, and he kind of looked like this in terms of like the way that the visor looks and everything. He kind of looks very similar in that regard. I love the white cape and everything, and the kind of neon bluish chest logo looks really sweet as well. So then we get to one of the new suits, and this is of course a suit that is prominently displayed in many of the advertisements. This is the spacesuit. This is obviously the suit that Batman utilizes when he goes to space, which is pretty self-explanatory. I really like this one. The only issue that this one has is the fact that you need to charge it up in order to fly. So in order to keep Batman from being completely overpowered, because if he could fly as well, I think he would be by far the most useful character in the game. So at least by preventing him from flying easily, by putting a little bit of restriction on it, at least in that way, he's not quite as powerful as, you know, he's not quite as overpowered as he would be if he could fly at will. So you can see the wings splay out and him kind of hovering a little bit, which kind of shows you a little bit of what he would be looking like when he's flying. You can see, of course, I've showcased a lot of times how he flies in the actual walkthrough and stuff like that, but there's just no quick way for me to do it right now. I would need to find a charge-up station, and I don't really know where there is one at this point in time. But, as you can see, the one thing that he has gained, which is awesome, is a laser. So now he can melt gold bricks. If you remember in the previous games, it was very challenging oftentimes to play because you would obviously always switch to, like, Superman and stuff, because Superman could melt stuff, and as a result of that, he was a very, very fun character to use, because you could do this and destroy stuff very, very quickly. Well, now Batman can do the same thing, so he's got that benefit going for him as well. So, additionally to all this, we also have the Arctic suit. So this is, again, another returning suit that we have seen before. We have used it previously, of course. It is basically the Mr. Freeze type suit, so you can go ahead and freeze stuff, freeze water and things like that, which is, I mean, it's I don't want to sound down on it, but the problem is the story doesn't really ask you to use this suit very often. In fact, I think so far in the game, I think I might have used it 3 times the whole entire time, which is a little weird. Like, you would think that it would, being like equal to the other suits, it would be used more often. But then again, you know, when you have 7 suits, maybe it does become a little bit difficult to have all of them used an equal amount of time. But again, it is a cool looking suit, of course. I mean, it's a white suit for Batman, which is kind of neat, you know, kind of gives it that kind of tuxedo type vibe, kind of James Bondy-esque thing. I love the glowing white eyes. It looks super duper cool in that regard. And it's still a cool suit. Like, I'm not trying to be too down on it. I just didn't really get to use it much. So as a result of that, I'm a little bit of a downer on it. So, next up is the electricity suit, which is also a returning suit, but it is my favorite suit. I know that it's definitely not as diverse as the others, but aesthetically, it's just so cool. I mean, it's Energizer Bunny Batman. That's what I call him all the time. And he's just awesome. Like, he just looks so very, very, very cool in this outfit. He's got these, like, 2 power rods in the back. Look at his entire costume. It's all glowing like a Tron costume. I love it. It's so cool. And then he's got this ginormous electric blaster. He looks like he belongs in, like, one of the Rogues or something. I don't know. I just really, really love the aesthetics of this thing. And then, of course, on top of that, as if all that wasn't enough, he can also absorb and then dish out electricity. So he's very useful in many, many situations during the game where you need to draw out energy and then utilize it against your enemies, or additionally to that, you don't even have to electrocute your enemies. You can use that, of course, to power up other stations, electrical stations, which are oftentimes required in order to activate switches or bridges or something like that. So in that regard, he's really, really sweet, and by far my favorite suit. Well, not by far, because, I mean, some of the other suits are very, very useful. Like, the space suit is just awesome, because if you can get it charged up, I mean, you've got a flying Batman that shoots lasers. How cool is that? Like, you can't get much cooler than that. I also really like the Sonar suit. I like it aesthetically and just the way that you use it. And then finally, the new suit that was added, another new suit I should say, that was added to this game is of course the diving suit. So I believe that in Lego Batman 2, from what I remember, Robin had the diving suit, but Batman did not have one. Well, this time, Batman has one, which is, of course, the Scuba suit. And this is actually a real figure that you can get a real set from. I think it's like Batman versus the Penguin or something like that, where you get this suit and the Penguin, I think. I think those are the two characters that you get in that set. Oh yeah, and you get the little like funny duck set. So of course, this thing you literally would only use for like being able to dive in the water, which of course is a pretty handy ability because then you could oftentimes collect studs, collect some other valuables. And it's pretty handy in a couple of levels. I think it's really, really used in the you're up against it level of the game. But there you guys have it. That is pretty much all the suits. The cool thing is, as you can see, you don't actually have to bring up the weapons wheel, which is really, really awesome. You could use the trigger buttons to switch between the costumes, so that's really, really handy. I love that they've added that even to the overworld, and it's really fast and easy to transform into the costumes now, unlike it was in Lego Batman 2 where you had to go and find the little pads and transform into them. So I'm really, really glad that this is what they've went with for this year, and I think it turned out terrific. So, with all that being said, guys, there you guys have it, of course. That is the very first free roam gameplay showcase, and it, of course, had to be the Caped Crusader himself. I couldn't have started with anybody but him, because that would just simply be unfair. So, of course, as always, guys, don't forget to have a fan-fliptastic day. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If we could hit 1,000 likes, that would be spectacular for the first free roam gameplay showcase. Stay tuned for plenty more coming your way. And, of course, as always, guys, do not forget to have an absolutely fan-fliptastic day. I'll catch you folks next time. Peace out. See you laters, alligators. Bye-bye, guys.